Hi, I'm Nolan Baker with America's Retirement Headquarters. On today's educational video, I'm going to walk you through how fixed index annuities work. A fixed index annuity can be a good alternative for some of the money that you're looking to have in the more conservative part of your portfolio. So a fixed index annuity and just an annuity in general can be somewhat of a confusing topic. So not all annuities work the same. There's different types of annuities. The three most common types of annuities that are in the marketplace today are a fixed annuity, which typically pays a fixed rate of return for a set period of time. You would have what is called a variable annuity, which means that it can go up and down with how the performance of the market or the underlying investments perform. And then third, you have a fixed index annuity. So for today's topic, we're going to focus on the fixed index annuity. Now with a fixed index annuity, what you can do is you can go out and you can put money on deposit with an insurance company. Now what our company does is we typically review the rates of roughly 50 of the largest major insurance companies. So the rates can change month to month and they change over time. So, what may be a great option at one company could change to be a better option at another company next month. But if you go and you take and put money on deposit with an insurance company, what the insurance company is going to do is they're going to take that deposit and they're going to go invest that money into government bonds or some other type of investment, and they're typically going to put that and invest it in what is called a discounted price. So back in the days, if you ever bought a series like E-bond, in that type of bond, what you did is you bought it for, say, $50, and then when it matured, it was worth $100. The same would be true as the insurance companies are buying investments at a discount that over a set number of years would mature at a price. In this case, what that is known as the spread. The spread is ultimately how the insurance company makes their money. So some fixed index annuities are no-fee products. And sometimes when I say that they're no fee, the consumer is confused because it sounds too good to be true. And let's face it, insurance companies are in business to make money. So if they're not charging fees, in our example, they're making money here through the spread. In this scenario, the person who sells you the fixed index annuity is acting as an agent. So in this transaction, this agent is getting compensated by the insurance company through that type of transaction. These bonds earn interest. And again, interest rates can vary, but let's just say that the interest is $3,000 a year. The insurance company will take that $3,000 and combine it with maybe hundreds, if not thousands, of other policyholders for that month, and they'll go to the stock market. In the stock market, what they'll do is they'll typically talk to the market maker. So I oftentimes would refer to this as the guy running around on TV that looks like a man. They're going to say, I have $3,000. If I give you this $3,000, how much of the market would you allow us to participate in if the stock market is positive over the next year? And sometimes they lock in rates over 1 year. It's also common to lock in rates over 2 years. So in our example, if the market maker says over a 1-year time frame, we'll allow you to participate in a 50% gain of what the underlying index is, that would be an example of what a fixed index annuity option might look like. Underlying indexes, the most common ones being like the S&P 500 index, but you could also have, a volatility control index. There could be an index based upon international investments. So there's a lot of different indexes to pick from. Again, in our example, to keep it simple, what we're showing here is simply a 50% participation rate on an underlying index. In 1 year from now, the market can only do one of three things. It could go up, it could stay the same, or it could go down. If the stock market goes up, in our example, let's pick a good year, and let's say that the stock market goes up 20%. Maybe that's a great year. then this strategy, what would happen is the insurance company would exercise that option, participating in half of that. Half of 20 is 10. They would take the original investment of $100,000. They would add 10% to that account, and they would send the investor a statement that shows that their account is worth $110,000. The stock market could go up, it could go down, and it could end up exactly where it's at today. Half of zero is still zero. That investment's still worth what the client originally deposited into the account. Or the next year, what could happen is the stock market could go down. If the stock market goes down, the insurance company is not obligated to exercise that option. So the money's not invested directly into the market. So in the years when the market goes down, the insurance company simply says, I don't want to exercise that option. They let that option expire, and then next year what they do is they reset the option and do that strategy all over again. So the first part of understanding a fixed index annuity is to understand somewhat of the behind the scenes mechanics of how the insurance company makes money, how the agent gets paid, and more importantly, how the investor gets paid in participating in a portion of the gains in an underlying index if and when the stock market goes up. So the next part of understanding a fixed index annuity is to look at an example and begin to understand the pros and cons of how fixed index annuities work. Now, in our situation at America's Retirement Headquarters, what we would oftentimes utilize a fixed index annuity is an alternative to other traditional fixed accounts. So it might be an alternative to low rates in money market accounts, low rates in most traditional CDs. It could be an alternative to bond funds with risk of rising interest rates. But in our example, again, there's pros and cons to anything that you do. So an investor might decide to take and invest their $100,000 in the stock market. If somebody put $100,000 in the stock market and the stock market went up 20%, ignoring fees and expenses of stock market investing for a minute, what would happen is that $100,000 investment would be worth $120,000. In our example, we showed a fixed index annuity with a 50% participation rate. So if the participation rate was 50%, that $100,000 investment in the fixed index annuity would be worth $110,000. This right here is one example of a potential negative when investing in fixed index annuities. It's not going to allow you to participate in all of the gains if and when the market goes up. Now the trade-off for that is if and when the stock market goes down, so in our example, next year, if the market goes down 20%, this investor is actually at $96,000. So as the account goes down in value, losses hurt more for investors in the stock market. With a fixed index annuity that has a 1-year lock-in, once they put money into your account, that becomes your new starting point. So in our example here, that $100,000 investment that went to $110,000 continues to stay at $110,000. It doesn't go down in value if and when the market goes down. Now, with the stock market, we don't know how far things will go. It's possible that the stock market investor could really go down as the economy goes down. What we would know in that scenario is the fixed index annuity would continue to stay level at that amount because it's not going down as the market goes down. What we know about the stock market is eventually it would come back, and history has shown that time and time again, eventually the market goes back. So if this account goes up 10%, the great news about owning a fixed index annuity is in any given year with the annual reset feature, an investor gets to participate in gains on losses that they never had to suffer. So the investor in the stock market might hope to be just getting back to even, would be the goal. And if you've ever had an investment and you just thought, I wish I could just get back to even, that's maybe how this stock market investor might feel after a big decline overall in the market. But again, utilizing the fixed index annuity concept allows you to participate and protect those gains if and when the market goes up. The third part of understanding a fixed index annuity comes down to, again, understanding what surrender charges are. Again, with annuities, there's pros and cons to anything that you do, so I think it's very important that you read through how the overall features and benefits would work before investing in any type of contract or investment. In our example here, if we used $100,000, some insurance companies offer a bonus for opening up an account. In our example here, if this particular insurance contract offered a 5% bonus to open up the account, the investor day number one's $100,000 investment is worth $105,000. Most annuities typically have something called a 7 to 10 year surrender charge. Annuities can vary. There's a lot of different time frames. But what I have seen in my experience in the industry is the overwhelming majorities of annuities are somewhere between 7 and 10 years that have surrender charges. And what a surrender charge would mean is that if you decided to pull out more than what your free withdrawal amount is, a fee or penalty would apply to excess withdrawals. So you always want to be conscious of what your income needs are in determining where you have money invested at to cover any type of emergencies or money that you might need for these type of withdrawals. In a fixed index annuity, over time, this investment should grow, again, if and when the stock market goes up, because you're participating in a percentage of those gains. In this example, let's just say 3 years down the road, this account, again, hypothetically grew to be worth $120,000. And in 3 years from now, let's say that this investor decided that they needed to get money out of their account and they wanted to take out $50,000. So they're going to take out half of what they originally invested 3 years into what was a 10-year agreement with the insurance contract. Most insurance annuities will typically allow you to take out 10% per year for free. So 10% is the free withdrawal off the original $100,000. The remaining $40,000 would have a penalty associated with it because it's over and above. A lot of times the ways penalties work are based upon the number of years. So a 10-year annuity might have a 10% surrender in the first year, 9% surrender in the next year, could go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and eliminated. And again, they vary a little bit. But let's pick an annuity and let's say in the third year, it still has a 10% penalty. So a 10% penalty on our example here would be $4,000. So this investor would pay $4,000, but again, because of the fact that they got a bonus in the beginning, they may still be able to participate in growth and be able to get the withdrawal that they need. And the fee, although we don't want to pay fees, may not necessarily be as big of an impact for that investor. There again, it's important why you have money in different accounts that are designed for different things. But what we're trying to do is educate you again about the pros and cons of how fixed index annuities work, and surrender charges are one of the topics that you want to become aware of before considering investing into a fixed index annuity. Again, I'm Nolan Baker with America's Retirement Headquarters. I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you about your investments and determine what might be a good possible outcome to how to allocate your investments. So I look forward to talking to you soon, and I hope you have a wonderful day.